Welcome to Do the Dang Thing podcast with Chrissi Sperduto, the podcast that's like having a personal action-taking coach in your pocket, giving you bite-sized tips and small mindset shifts every week. I'm your host, Chrissi Sperduto. I'm a network marketer turned action-taking coach for business owners who grew her businesses while holding down a successful career in aviation. I'm on a mission to help you fit your business into your everyday life because I believe you are capable of doing some pretty amazing things no matter how chaotic your life is. Consider me your no-nonsense business BFF, helping you learn how to get it all done quicker, easier, and with way less mental drama. Join me here on the podcast each week where we'll chat everything from systems to help you fit your business into real life, to business tips, plus time management hacks, mindset shifts to help you find the courage to take that next step in your business, and real life experts to inspire and empower you to go after your goals. Let's go, CEO. We have work to do. Grab your favorite cup of coffee or wine, no judgment here, and get ready to ditch those inner mean girl thoughts ringing in the back of your head so you can embrace your inner badass and go do the dang thing. Hi, bestie. Welcome back to the Do the Dang Thing podcast. I'm Chrissi Sperduto, your host, and I'm not gonna lie, I am super pumped about this episode. I have guest Hanna from Boundless Copy back on the podcast to chat about a challenge she ran that I totally stole the format of and ran for myself. We're chatting numbers, we're chatting data, and how you can use this challenge format to get email subscribers, hype, and sales, right? That's why we're in business, to make sales. We originally recorded this podcast episode back in late July when we recorded episode 21, so some of the dates that Hanna mentions are a little bit off, but the good news is she's running her challenge that we're talking about in this episode again. I'll pop back on at the end and give you more information on that, plus a recap on how this challenge went for me, for her, and what I would do differently if I ran this challenge again. Without further ado, here's our episode all about running a challenge as your next freebie. By someone that we had on a couple episodes ago, and I'm really excited that she's back. I have Hanna from Boundless Copy with me today. Hanna, thank you for joining me again today. I'm so excited to have you here.
It's so good to be back. Thank you for having me.
It's been so long.
I know. Hours, minutes even.
We are recording these back to back, but I will stagger them when I post them. But last time that you were here, we talked about your course and then the freebie that you did beforehand. And so I want to dive into the nuts and the bolts of this and really give the audience kind of some motivation and confidence that they could do something like this too. So do you want to kind of break down what you did with Brand Voice Bootcamp and Brand Voice Roundup?
Yeah, absolutely. So Brand Voice Bootcamp was a free challenge that I wanted to run for anyone to join. I want to preface it by saying that I don't have an enormous audience. I've been a copywriter for 8 years. I love it. I have great clients. But I've only recently started building an audience online and, investing in growing an Instagram community and a Threads community. So I have under 1,000 people who follow me. And I decided, I really want to start a challenge for people to show them what I'm all about, show them the power of brand voice, and help them kind of build a community at the same time. And Brand Voice Bootcamp was born. So Brand Voice Bootcamp was a 5-day, 5-email challenge. 105 people joined us, and every day at 9 a.m. there was a mini lesson about brand voice, a mini little bit of homework that was really actionable, and it was a small piece of it. And then for 5 days, we had a little bit of this, a little bit of this, and on the 5th day, all of it tied together so that people had a better understanding of their own brand voice. And kind of the tagline of Brand Voice Bootcamp was taking your brand voice from blah to bold. And I wanted to kind of teach people having a bold brand voice doesn't necessarily mean being like the loudest or the wildest voice out there. It means really leaning into your voice, who you already are, and who your audience needs you to be, and kind of capitalizing on that fusion so that anytime you're writing words for your people, they hear you and they come running. And Bootcamp was super fun because we had, 1 email a day, 5 days, but then we had a group chat going. And I did not anticipate, number one, that 105 people were going to be in bootcamp. I was thrilled to death. but I also didn't anticipate that 80 plus people were going to be active in the chat every day at all hours of the day. And these business owners and service providers got so hyped about this challenge. It was very cool to watch everybody get really into the mini homework, get into the actionable items, and then share their results every single day.
I love that. My first question for you is why did you choose to do email over a webinar, over, a mini course, over a download? Like, why email?
So, kind of in the spirit of brand voice, I was like, okay, what is something that I would want to do as a business owner who, I don't have a ton of time, but I still want to learn? And what is something that my dream people like want to invest in? And I kind of found this fusion of quick wins. We all want to come away with something that we have learned without having to spend like 3 hours doing it. And that's kind of the beautiful thing about brand voice is during the education process of it and while you're developing yours, there are all these little pieces of golden information that you can learn really fast. So email seemed perfect because I wanted to give people daily quick wins that all tied together, that they didn't have to spend like 2 hours a day doing it. You could spend 20 minutes and then you sit down, you read the lesson, it's really fast, you do your homework, and you're this much more aligned with your people and your voice. And then email was just a thing where I wanted to have a pace where if people wanted to talk about that day's homework or ask questions about the assignment, we could have a group chat where every day it was kind of themed. But I also wanted people who got sick, for example, like you, to have the option to do it on their own. So you have all 5 emails in your inbox and you can get to them when you get to them. I wanted to give people a choice.
I love that. Yeah. I think I've hosted a couple of different like workshops and webinars and things like that. And it's hard to get butts in the seats because people are busy and an hour's a long commitment versus, 5 emails, an email a day for a week. I can sign up for that. Heck yeah. And so it was such an easy yes, at least from my perspective, it was such an easy yes. What did you do to kind of get, so you said you have less than 1,000 people that follow you on Instagram. What did you do to get 105 people to sign up for this challenge? That is huge numbers. It's 10% of your following. Like, that's crazy.
It felt good too. I will tell you, everyone has told me this before, and I thought there was some kind of secret to it. Truthfully, the more you talk about it, the more people are going to hear you. And it can feel kind of uncomfortable at first to show up on your Instagram stories or show up on threads over and over and over and over. But truthfully, the social media world or our email lists, people are just inundated with information all the time. And people need to hear something 3, 4, 5 times before it really sticks with them. So I kind of made myself this promise that even if I felt like I was being annoying, or even if I felt like, oh, I just talked about this, I was going to talk about Brand Voice Bootcamp 1 to 2 times every day. And I did. So I showed up on Instagram, on my stories, in my posts. Threads was big because Threads, you can just throw things out into the void and someone's going to hear it, which is great. So I just kept showing up for it. And the more you do that, the more people want to show up. And then a piece of it that was really helpful that I wasn't sure it was going to work or not, but I wanted to see what it was. I had everyone who signed up, they got a link that they could share with their audience. And whoever got the most people to sign up got a gift card. And that was kind of a fun game because people love to be a little competitive. And I think I got like 30 extra people I wouldn't have had sign up simply because so many members were sharing their link with their audiences. So it kind of broadened the scope.
I love that. That's so creative. I don't think that I knew who you were before you did this challenge. Like, I think it was one of your challenge threads that you threw into the void that happened to land on my side of the algorithm.
Totally.
So, yes, keep posting about it, keep talking about it. Yeah. What are some, like, how long did you take to prep for this challenge? Like, how long did it take you to put the idea together, to start to market it, and to actually launch it?
I did it in about a month. So I am new to the idea of launching offers. So I feel like a month maybe was, for someone else, they could have probably put all this together in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I needed a month to get comfortable with it. And I had the idea and I mapped it all out before I started marketing it because I wanted it to be really clear what I was offering. So the actual like challenge itself, to map it out, it took me about 2 to 3 days because it wasn't this huge course. It were these little ideas that I just wanted to string all together. And then marketing, I gave myself about 3 weeks just to like talk about it as much as I could. And I'm sure other people with larger audiences or people who have launched before, I bet they can do it in a little shorter of time. But that was about what felt comfortable to me, and it turned out really great.
I love that. I was just talking to someone last night about launching, and I was like, your first launch is going to take you way longer than you think it is. Give yourself plenty of time, and just know that the next launch is going to be faster, and every single one is going to be a little bit easier. What other nuggets do you have to share about launching, doing this challenge? Would you do it again in this format?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us all the things.
100%. So I am someone I've done freebies before. I've done webinars, love them. Like I love to sit in front of a camera and talk to people, very extroverted. I've done those. I've done like free templates. I've done like free resources, and all of that is great. The engagement and community I was looking for weren't for me. They weren't going to come from those things. And I think it all depends on kind of what your strengths are, what your like zone of genius is as a business owner or a service provider. And for me, I sat down and I was like, okay, I'm great at brand voice. I know this. I've built a career on this. What else am I good at that I can help bring some value to people? And honest to God, I'm a pretty good like community like builder. And I was like, why am I putting templates out and free resources out that are super helpful, but it's not really within my zone of genius? So I was like, when I started thinking about boot camp, I was like, this needs a community aspect because that's where I've got it on lock. And once that kind of happened, I don't know if I'll ever do a freebie again that isn't a community challenge because it was just so aligned with what I care about and what other people found to be really engaging. So I will definitely do this again, probably next quarter, just because it's a heck of a time. And I really encourage other business owners who, feel comfortable with groups and feel comfortable leading communities, give this kind of freebie a go because it helps you build trust with your people, especially if you're going to launch something that you want them to invest in later. You build trust, you get to know everyone, people get to see how you show up too. And that's a really big deal, especially when it comes to later when they're like, do I trust and like this person enough to invest in what they're trying to sell me?
Yeah. And you were so active in the chat. So at points I was like, I can't even keep up with this. And Hannah's there every step of the way. We even had someone from Australia in there that was DMing in the middle of the night, which I thought was funny. But it was just so fun to watch you like be so excited for everyone. And even when I like posted my thing, I'm like, a week late to posting my homework. You're like, yes, that's exactly what you needed. Like, you got it. You got it. I thought the chat was like a really cool addition, and I'm not normally a chat person. And so, how did you sell the chat?
I gave people the option. So when you signed up, when you opted in, I had a Flowdesk form. I had an optional like share your IG handle, excuse me, for the chat. And I had people who didn't share it, which was fine. But then I also had people who had already joined realize they were missing out on the chat, so they would DM me or email me and be like, listen, I didn't want to, but now I want to. But I was just straight up with people. I didn't make the chat so integral to the challenge that they wouldn't get those quick wins without it, because some people just aren't group chat people, and that's totally fine. Other people, like myself, we absolutely love the buzz of the community, so that was going to be kind of a selling point. But I made sure it was optional, and I made sure it wasn't going to you weren't going to miss out on any of the quick wins from the challenge if you weren't part of it.
I love that. It was, I just can't say enough good things about it. I'm totally stealing your email idea to run a challenge and, lead that into an offer that goes alongside of it. So tell us a little bit more about Brand Voice Roundup and what's coming next. What's down the pipeline coming after this challenge?
Yeah, definitely. So Brand Voice Bootcamp was the free challenge, and obviously I wanted people to feel more aligned in their brand voice, kind of open their eyes to what makes their brand voice different. I wanted to give them those quick wins, But I also wanted to use this as a stepping stone to launch my new offer, which is Brand Voice Roundup. And Brand Voice Roundup is a mini course, 5 video lessons, of course, group chat support, a co-working day, and a Notion template that you complete as you go through your lessons. And it's going to teach you how to build your own brand voice guide. And essentially, the role of a brand voice guide is to be your cheat sheet as a business owner, where you can refer to it every single time you're writing something for your brand. So, web copy, you pull open your brand voice guide, now you know how to write it. Instagram captions, brand voice guide. Whatever you do, you pull this bad boy up, and now you can write with ease to your dream people. And that's what this whole mini course is about. I wanted it to be a little more involved than boot camp because I really wanted you to come away with a deliverable that you could refer to time and again. And I wanted people who were in boot camp to have the opportunity to see the value of your brand voice. And then the next stepping stone is, okay, I understand my clear and sticky brand voice. Now I want to know how to use it really, really well. So Brand Voice Roundup is all about teaching you how to do that. And it's launching August 19th. And signups, I think enrollment ends on the 16th. So if this podcast launches before that, anyone can join until the 16th.
Okay. I think it's probably going to launch after, but that's okay.
That's okay. We'll run it again in Q4.
Yeah, you're going to run it again. So we're not worried about that. How do you know that you didn't give too much away? Because that was such a clear distinction of like, okay, they walked away with this from the freebie, and then they're going to walk away with this, which has a tangible item attached to it in the paid offer. How did you distinguish, I'm going to include this in this one and this in this one?
Yeah, so essentially, when I'm giving something away, I want it to be actually valuable. And I know that there's like a bunch of different schools of thought on this, like don't give too much away for free. And I totally get that. I think we all need to be paid for the things we're good at, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I wanted people to walk away from Brand Voice Bootcamp and feel like, okay, I'm more aligned with my voice. I have a better understanding of this concept, and I feel pretty comfy with it. But then, and I wanted everything they learned in bootcamp to be the things that I talk about like all over the place anyway. Like if you were in bootcamp and then you went back through my Instagram and my threads, these are things that I'm teaching for free regardless. I'm just helping you put them all in order so it kind of makes more sense as a step-by-step. Whereas Roundup, now teaching you how to build a brand voice guide, that's something I do with my one-on-one clients. And that's something that I charge $900 for if I'm creating a brand voice guide for you. That's 8 years of experience doing it. I wanted people to walk away from Roundup feeling like they had something really tangible they can put their hands on, reuse, rely on. And I don't think that was really the offer in bootcamp. Bootcamp was more about becoming more aligned with your voice. So I think that's the line, right? Helping people get clear and learn things I'm already teaching anyway versus walking away with something tangible they can use for the rest of their brand's life.
I love that so much. I think you put a lot of like forethought and time into your planning too, which is sometimes where I just skip. I'm like, okay, we're going to go do the thing. Wait, what are we doing?
If it helps, like as a business owner and someone who's been in this business for 8 years, that's something I had to learn how to do because as a person, I'm like you. I'm like, let's go do it. And like, there's no stop. I'm just like, send it, let's go. With something like this challenge, half of boot camp was like, heck yeah, this is great. Let's just do it. And the other half was like, reel it in. We need people to actually gain something from this other than just your hype. And when I like brought it back for like a half second, because it didn't take me that long to plan, I was able to kind of implement that like framework that was really helpful for people to follow along with.
I love that so much. What advice do you have for someone that is going to run their first challenge, their first freebie, their first webinar, as far as going for it is, and like maybe balancing the going for it with the planning?
Okay, I have 3 pieces of advice. So number 1, do the dang thing, which like I hope that is clear on this podcast. You have to
I hope so.
You have to plan for sure, but half the battle is just getting yourself to say, you know what, I can do this and I'm gonna do it. And once you accept that, everything else gets a little bit easier. Number 2, I would say make sure you have it mapped out, even just the outline. You don't have to have every detail figured out, but have an outline of what you want your challenge to be and what you want people to take from it before you start marketing it. And that can be, it doesn't have to take weeks to figure it out. You can sit down for 2 hours and map it out and feel comfortable with it. But when you have a plan like that, it's going to help you to be a little more thoughtful with how you talk about it and who you talk to and how often you show up. And then thirdly, really build the hype and like lean into it, and don't sit there and think, okay, well, what if only 5 people join this challenge? That's 5 people joining that challenge. Get excited about that and publicly build that hype too. One of the things that I did while I was like getting people to enroll and sign up, I have a giant whiteboard in my office that's like almost my entire wall. And as people signed up, I added their name to the whiteboard. And it was so fun because I would do an Instagram story every day where I would add 2 more people, 3 more people, 10 more people. And that whiteboard went from 0 to 105. And that whole process was really cool to watch. And other people were watching it. And there's kind of that element of FOMO, right? Like people don't want to miss out on that. People want their name on that board. Like build the hype if you can in like fun, inexpensive ways.
Oh, yeah, the sticky note thing. We've definitely done the sticky note thing. The whiteboard is great. Even just a big piece of paper on the wall.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah. You don't have to get crazy. You can even just do like a digital thing on your story. People love to see that they're part of a group, and then other people are like, wait a second, I want to be part of that group. It totally works with our human brains.
100%. Well, Hanna, can you tell everyone where we can find you across all the platforms?
Absolutely. My copywriting company is Boundless Copy. You can find me online at boundlesscopy.com. I also have a shop, boundlesscopyshop.com. And then Instagram and Threads, I am at Boundless Copy. Highly recommend Threads. It is a heck of a time. If you're not on there, get on it. But please follow along on both. Lots of clear, sticky brand voice talk happening.
Yeah, even just to go and observe how you use the words that you do and how they show up everywhere. It's so fun to watch. So
I'm so glad.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
And we will talk to you again soon. And for everyone listening, keep on doing the dang thing.
Do the dang thing.
I'm back. There were just so many great tips and tricks for real from that episode that were so helpful to me when I considered running the Do the Dang Thing challenge, which is now going to be a staple for me within my customer journey and inside my funnel. After we recorded this episode, I ran the Do the Dang Thing challenge in August and then again in September. In August, I had 64 people sign up for the challenge. My email subscribers went from 82 to 123. That's a 50% increase in subscribers. Like, what? That is so huge. And I know that this is partially because I do my best marketing when I have a deadline. And this challenge had a deadline, which encouraged people to actually go and sign up, not just, oh, I'll get to it later. And it definitely got hype and people that were encouraging their friends to sign up, right? It's so easy to be like, oh, go, if you enjoyed this, send it to a friend. But it's different when it's like, no, bestie, I'm going to go and I'm going to do this challenge. Do you want to do it with me? It converted a lot of people that were also good followers. Like we had relationships already formed that I had been nurturing, but they hadn't yet signed up for a freebie or a product, so they weren't on my email list. During the first challenge, my Instagram followers went from 288 to 344. That's a 19.4% increase. Like that is also crazy. After the first challenge, I had 10 new friends join the Do the Dang Thing membership, and some were from the challenge, and about 3 were from just relationships that I had built and nurtured that were ready to say yes. But the way that the customer journey went was they couldn't sign up for it until the challenge was done. So challenge participants got like first sign up, and then everyone else on my email list got to sign up after that. So most came from the challenge, some came from just relationships that I had. Then when I ran it again in September, about 3 weeks later, I had 31 people sign up for the challenge, some of which were repeats from the August challenge that just wanted to see it again. My email subscribers went from 118 to 130. So yes, I did lose subscribers after the first challenge when I launched the Do the Dang Thing membership. That is 100% to be expected. But it's still like a 10.2% increase. It's still really great. Like, I will take it. And what this captured were the people that went through the challenge in August but didn't get their friends to sign up with them that first time. Those people had referred new people that then joined the second time, basically. My Instagram followers went from 359 to 390. That's an 8.6% increase. And I'm not sure if that's because of the challenge or just my usual marketing and things, but heck, I'll take it. And I did have, the second time I ran the challenge, I offered an option to upgrade to VIP, which was a new offer that I did with round 2. It was $19 per person, and I was honestly hoping for more, but anytime that you get people new to you, they're going to be hesitant to spend money. I'd be really curious the next time I run this, how many people upgrade to VIP that I already kind of have a like, no trust with. Those people are probably going to be my people that upgrade to VIP, but the people that I had that were already like, no trust with me had already done it in August where VIP wasn't an option. So now that the workbook and even just kind of the challenge as a whole is created, I'm excited to rinse and repeat this. This was such a great run up for my business to get people from following to email subscribers to trusting me to being ready to work with me. And I'm going to be really honest with you. I had 0 people join the Do the Dang Thing membership after the second challenge, and that's totally okay. I think putting them so close together maybe wasn't the best idea. And my best people, the people that I had already been nurturing for a while, were already in. They're already in the membership. So, and I also did not launch the membership to my entire email list or even on Instagram. I only opened it and launched it to the people that did the challenge in September. This was because I had something else in the pipeline that I wanted to launch to my list right after this. So I think that those results are reflective of that, and I'm okay with that. I still was able to nurture and help 31 people, even if they didn't convert to customers. And now I have the whole process, the whole run-up of my customer journey solidified and ready to go to rinse and repeat and use in January. And I want to be really straightforward with you. We're business besties, so I can tell you anything, right? The second time that I ran the Do the Dang Thing challenge, I was tired. The chat was quieter. My marketing wasn't as strong. And the lesson that I learned, so anytime I do something and I'm like, that didn't quite pan out the way that I wanted it to, the lesson that I learned was to not run these so close together. And it's kind of just the way that things worked out. If I was going to run it again this year, it had to be those weeks in September. I'm not mad that I ran it, but I definitely wish I hadn't spent the mental bandwidth to run it twice back to back like that. Next time I do it, I'm going to run them further apart, probably once a quarter, so that people that joined previously can join again and help me hype the group up. I think that was the missing component. The first time we ran it, the group chat was popping. It was crazy. It was wild. Everyone was supporting each other. And then the second time, it was just kind of like, okay, yeah, we're here. Not really interacting, much quieter. So it was just, hopefully if I run them a little bit further apart, we're going to have that energy in the group chat. It's going to be a very natural lead up into the membership, and it'll just hit a little bit different. Hanna shared some stats with me about the boot camp. So from round 1 of the boot camp, she spent 3 weeks actively campaigning on social media and with her email list. She had 112 members sign up, 75 of which were brand new people. Inside her chat, she had 96 engaged members. So 112 total, 96 were active in the chat. And then she had a 14% conversion rate for her lead-in offer. So they start with the boot camp and then they go to the roundup. 14% went to the roundup. I think that's absolutely amazing. And both the boot camp and the roundup were phenomenal. 10 out of 10 would recommend. I think everyone should have to go through something like this in order to really solidify how you talk and how you stand out on the internet. And then she retained 75% of the newbies who joined the challenge. So Of the 75 brand new people she added to her email list, 75% of those stuck around, stayed on her email list. You are going to lose people from your email list when you sell. It's just like, that's just what happens. It kind of sucks. But if they are unsubscribing from your list, they probably were never going to buy from you anyway. So like, let's get rid of the dead weight. Let's get rid of the bad energy. I love that this format has been so powerful for Hanna, and I absolutely adore the goal of 200 new pals so much. This challenge has been probably my favorite way to build my network, give people quick wins, and to make money. That's what we're here in business to do. Thank you again to Hanna for sharing this format, her best tips and tricks, and really giving us the confidence to do this in our businesses too. If you have not yet taken her Brand Voice Bootcamp, do it. You will not regret it. The time you spend going through the challenge will save you hours upon hours of time in the future saying, I don't know what to say or how to say it. And your people will be addicted to your voice, I promise you. The link to the bootcamp is in the show notes below, and again, runs October 14th to 18th. When you join, be sure to add my name, Chrissi as she's doing a fun little giveaway for us, and I'm a little bit competitive, and I would love to win her prize that she has for us, round tours, I think is what she's calling us. And that's it for today's episode. But before you go, I want to remind you that there is only a few more days left to sign up for my newest course. I'm co-hosting Reels Ramp Up, and this is the last Reels program that you are ever going to need. And alongside Hanna's bootcamp, you're going to know what to say, how to say it, and do it in such a fun and cheeky way that your audience is not going to have any other option except for to buy from you. There's only a few more days and a few more spots left. This is a super hands-on program where we go in each day and audit your content before you post it. By the end of it, you're going to have so much data on what works, what doesn't, and you're going to get to see other participants' tweaks, meaning your learning curve is shortened exponentially. If you are already in the habit of producing content, but you feel like it doesn't convert to sales, or your point is never really understood, or like you're being consistent, but your paycheck isn't reflecting it, this program is for you. We will first get clear on what you talk about on your platform, and then we will help you simplify the type of content you produce. And then we will be with you every day, Monday through Friday, helping you make real-time adjustments and tweaks tailored towards your business. Not just blanket advice, but tweaks to your content. And then we will have weekly coworking sessions, so you will actually make time to implement, and weekly coaching to help you overcome the roadblocks that will come up as you do something as high level as this. We start on Monday, October 14th, the same day that Hanna's challenge starts, and run through November 13th. Because we're doing this for the first time, we're actually giving you 40% off for being a founder. Join us for just $349 or 2 installments of $198. It is such an insane value for the high-touch environment you are going to be in. I wish that there was a program like this out there when I was trying to figure out what the fuck I was doing on social media. Check out the show notes below for the link to join us and the link to Hanna's challenge, and we will see you inside the masterclass on October 14th and inside the boot camp on October 14th. Fun. They're both starting on the same day. Until next time, keep on doing the dang thing, my friend. I will talk to you next week. Bye. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Do the Dang Thing podcast with Chrissi Sperduto. If you know someone that could benefit from today's chat, please send this episode their way and be sure to leave a rating and a review so more business owners can find the podcast and be inspired to take action on their goals. Also, I love to see what you're doing while you listen. Share what you're up to while you listen to today's episode and tag me in your stories at Chrissi Sperduto for a shout out. If you'd like to explore more resources like my free monthly coaching call and learn how we can work together through one-on-one coaching or the Do the Dang Thing membership, head to www.chrissisperduto.com. Please always remember that you are not alone in this adventure. I am always rooting for you, bestie. Until next time, keep on doing the dang thing. Bye.